Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into something I know a lot of you are interested in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, critical thinking,
I
right?
love that topic.
It's one of those things everybody wants to get better at. And
Absolutely.
you've sent in some excerpts from Critical Thinking Skills by Stella Cottrell.
No, that's a good one.
It is, yeah.
Classic.
We figured we'd use this as a way to sort of shortcut to the best parts of this book.
Sounds good.
And we can help you figure out how to actually use these techniques in your life.
Cottrell's work is just brilliant for that. Really breaks it down to practical steps.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I was just looking at chapter 1 where she defines critical thinking
Yeah.
as the careful, deliberate process of evaluating information and arguments with an open yet analytical mindset.
hmm
And, at first I was like, okay, sounds simple enough.
Right, right.
But then I got to thinking, there's got to be more to it.
There's layers to this, you
Wow.
know. It's not just about, being right or wrong. It's how you approach information and argument.
It's that mindset, right?
Yeah.
That open yet analytical mindset.
That's what she emphasizes, not some abstract academic thing. It's about succeeding in the real world,
Interesting.
in your studies, career, even your personal life, thriving.
Okay, so it's really about thriving, not just surviving.
Exactly.
So it's not about always being right. It's about how you think things through, right?
Absolutely.
Got it. So she breaks critical thinking into these 3 parts:
Okay.
analysis, evaluation, and evidence-based reasoning.
Mm.
So let's take those one by one, I guess.
Okay.
Analysis seems kind of straightforward, breaking things down to understand them better.
Like becoming a mental mechanic, taking apart that engine of an argument or a piece of information, seeing how it all fits together.
Okay, so if I'm reading a news article, for example,
Yeah.
I'm not just taking it in, I'm looking at the source, the author's potential biases, what evidence they're presenting, all those little pieces.
Right. Exactly.
So, okay, I've taken it apart.
hmm
Now, how do I judge if it's any good?
That's where evaluation kicks in, right?
Yeah.
You've got your toolkit from the analysis, and now you're judging.
Okay.
Is this credible? Is this logical? What's the agenda here?
It's like putting on your detective hat.
Yes,
I
exactly.
love that. So it's about being discerning,
Hmm.
asking those tough questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, which leads us to that third part, evidence-based reasoning.
This is where it all comes together, like grounding your opinions and decisions in solid evidence.
So not just going with your gut.
Not just your gut. No, no. You need a strong foundation.
Like if you're building a house,
Exactly. You need those strong foundations,
not just the pretty decorations.
not just the paint job. Yeah.
Got it. So chapter 1 lays out the why of critical thinking.
The why.
I'm all about the how-to.
The practical stuff, yeah.
So chapter 2 seems like that's what she dives into techniques.
She's big on having a structured approach.
Oh, interesting.
And one tool that comes to mind is the SWOT analysis.
I've heard of that.
It's super helpful for decisions.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Let's say you're thinking of taking on a new project.
Oh. This is actually happening to me right now.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, a potential project just landed on my desk,
Okay.
and I don't know, I just feel a little overwhelmed by it.
That's where the SWOT analysis comes in, right?
Right.
List out the strengths, the benefits for you, for the company.
Okay.
Then those weaknesses, the challenges, the downsides.
Brutally honest.
Yes. Then the opportunities, what this project could open up for you.
Right.
And finally, the threats, the things that could go wrong.
Wow, okay.
Right.
Just laying it out like that,
hmm
I feel less overwhelmed already.
It's like a roadmap,
Yeah, I like that.
instead of just wandering around in the dark.
Totally. That structured approach seems really helpful.
She's all about structure. And another tool is Bloom's taxonomy.
Bloom's taxonomy.
It helps you categorize different levels of thinking,
Okay.
But what about when you're facing a problem, not just a decision?
Oh, right.
There's a tool for that too.
What's that?
The 5 whys technique.
Oh, yeah, the 5 whys. I read about that.
You just keep asking why.
Like a little kid, right?
There's like a persistent 5-year-old, but don't underestimate it.
Really?
Let's say you're missing deadlines.
No.
The first why is, why am I missing deadlines?
Okay.
Maybe the answer is, I'm not managing my time well.
Right.
But then you go deeper, why am I not managing my time well? And maybe it's, I take on too much.
Oh, I see.
You keep going till you get to that root cause.
That could be helpful for all kinds of stuff, not just work problems.
Exactly. Personal stuff too.
Like if I'm feeling stressed,
Yeah.
I could use the 5 whys to figure out what's really going on.
Absolutely. Instead of just feeling overwhelmed.
I like that. So this is all about getting to the root of things. And that reminds me of something else she talks about.
Oh, what's that?
Identifying assumptions and biases.
Oh, those sneaky things.
Because we all have them, right?
We all do, even if we don't realize it.
Yeah, yeah. So how do we unpack that?
One tool is the Tolman model. It's a bit complex,
Uh-huh.
but essentially it breaks down an argument into parts.
Okay.
Like, let's say someone's arguing we should all be vegetarians.
Mm-hmm.
Their claim, their main point might be eating meat is unethical.
Okay.
But then you look at their grounds, their evidence.
The proof, right.
Exactly. What facts, studies are they using?
Makes sense.
And then there's the warrant, the connection between the evidence and the claim.
Okay.
It might be unstated, but it's there.
Okay.
Like maybe their warrant is anything that harms the environment is unethical.
Right.
But is that always true?
Good point.
You see?
Yeah, so the Tolman model is like a magnifying glass for arguments.
Exactly. It helps expose those hidden parts.
And those biases we might not even realize are there.
Exactly. This is what's so cool about critical thinking. It's not just being smart. It's about having these tools to approach things in a deliberate way.
It's a way of thinking, right?
It is a way of thinking.
That deliberate approach seems really important, especially now.
With so much information coming at us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that brings us to chapter 3, where she focuses on effective reading and note-taking.
Okay, so how do we not drown in all this information?
Well, she's all about critical reading, actively engaging with the material.
Not just skimming it.
Not just skimming, no, asking questions as you go.
Like what kind of question?
Who's the author? What's their agenda? What evidence are they using? Any biases?
So it's like I'm having a conversation with the author in my head.
Yes. Challenging them, pushing back a little.
I like that.
Um,
So what about note-taking? Are there any good techniques?
She recommends a few, and one that stood out to me was the Cornell note-taking system.
Oh yeah, the Cornell notes. I've heard of those.
You divide your notes into sections.
Right, for key points, questions, and summaries.
Exactly. It's like making a study guide as you read.
That makes a lot of sense.
And for visual learners, she recommends mind mapping.
Oh, mind maps. I love mind maps.
They're great for seeing the connections between ideas.
Okay, so we're reading critically, taking good notes. But what about when we need to argue our own points or evaluate someone else's?
Ah, yes, because critical thinking isn't just about consuming information.
Right.
It's about using it to communicate and persuade.
Okay, so how do we get better at that?
That's where chapter 4 comes in. Constructing and deconstructing arguments.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
It can be, but it's also empowering. She breaks down an argument into 3 parts.
Okay.
Claims, evidence, and warrants.
We touched on these before with the Tulum model, right?
We did, but it's worth revisiting.
Okay, let's do it. So the claim is like your main point.
Exactly. It's what you're trying to convince people of.
Like pineapple belongs on pizza.
A bold claim. But to make it convincing, you need evidence.
Not just pineapple is delicious.
Not just that, no. You need facts, studies, maybe even historical evidence of pineapple on pizza.
I like it. Okay, so then the warrant is...
The underlying assumption connecting the evidence and the claim.
Okay.
Like maybe your warrant is, anything delicious belongs on pizza.
I don't know about that one.
Right. It's about identifying those hidden assumptions.
That can make or break an argument.
Exactly. So the Toulmin model helps us build our own strong arguments too.
It's not just for tearing down other people's arguments.
Not at all. It's a two-way street.
I've always been intimidated by debates, but this makes me feel more confident.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is. Oh, and speaking of secret weapons,
Yeah.
she also talks about logical fallacies.
Oh, those are fun.
I remember reading about ad hominem attacks, straw man arguments.
People use them all the time without realizing it.
It's amazing. Once you know them, you see them everywhere.
It's like having X-ray vision for bad arguments.
Okay, so all this is great for analyzing information, building arguments, but how do we apply it to real-life problems, make better decisions?
That's chapter 5, problem solving and decision making.
Okay, give me the steps.
The first step, she emphasizes this, define the problem.
That's simple enough.
But we often jump to solutions without understanding the root cause.
Oh, yeah, like if I'm stressed, I might just try to relax without figuring out why I'm stressed in the first place.
Exactly. So instead of I'm stressed, it's what is causing me stress.
Get specific.
Yes. Clarity is key.
Okay, so I've defined the problem, then what?
Gather information,
Makes sense.
but not just any information. Relevant and reliable information.
Because it's easy to fall into that trap.
Confirmation bias.
You're only looking for stuff that supports what you already believe.
Exactly. Critical thinking is about challenging those beliefs.
So I need to look at different perspectives, even opposing viewpoints.
Absolutely. Be open to changing your mind.
Okay, so define the problem, gather information, what's next?
Analyze the information, look for patterns, inconsistencies, biases,
Put on that detective hat again.
always. And then brainstorm solutions.
Oh, this is where I get stuck.
It can be overwhelming, but the key is to be open-minded.
Okay.
Generate a wide range of solutions, even if they seem crazy at first.
Got it. Brainstorm freely.
Yes. You never know where a good idea will come from.
Okay, I've got my list of solutions. Now what?
Evaluate each solution, weigh the pros and cons, the risks and benefits.
Think about the consequences, both short-term and long-term.
Exactly.
And this is where tools like SWOT analysis come in handy, right?
They provide that structure for evaluating options.
Okay, so I defined, gathered, analyzed, brainstormed, evaluated. Time to make a decision.
But even then, be flexible.
Oh, right, because things change.
The world is constantly changing. New information emerges.
So I might need to revisit my decision and adjust course.
Exactly. It's not about being rigid. It's about being adaptable.
This is making so much sense. But you know, we often think of critical thinking as being so logical,
Very rational.
almost cold even. But in chapter 6, she throws in this interesting twist.
What's that?
She connects emotional intelligence to good decision-making.
It's a fascinating connection.
Yeah, it is.
We often see logic and emotion as opposites.
Right, right.
But she argues they can actually work together.
Okay, I'm curious, how so?
Well, first, emotional intelligence means understanding your own emotions.
Self-awareness, right?
Exactly. So you can avoid those impulsive decisions driven by fear or anger.
Because we've all been there, done that.
We have.
Yeah.
And then there's empathy, understanding others' emotions,
Okay.
which helps you consider different viewpoints, make more balanced decisions.
So it's not about suppressing emotions, it's about using them wisely.
That's it. They can inform our thinking.
Okay, I like that. So are there ways to improve emotional intelligence?
She suggests some strategies.
Like what?
Recognizing your triggers, practicing mindfulness, actively seeking out diverse perspectives.
So it's about tuning in to yourself and the world around you.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Wow, this is so interesting. We've covered so much already.
Right. It's a lot to digest.
Well, it's got the definition of critical thinking, the why, the how-to,
Mhm.
the tools, even this link with emotional intelligence.
It's fascinating stuff.
It is. And it's making me think, like, this journey of critical thinking doesn't just stop here.
It doesn't. It's a lifelong process, always evolving.
Right, exactly. Which is perfect because in chapter 7, that's what she talks about.
Becoming a lifelong learner. Yeah.
So we'll dive into that next time. But for now, got to give everyone a chance to process all this amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon to continue this deep dive, so stay tuned.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, everyone. I don't know about you, but
Oh, gosh.
I'm still processing all the great stuff we unpacked from Cottrell's book last time.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing about critical thinking.
What's that?
It's a journey.
It is a journey.
You know,
Totally.
it's not just like you arrive at a destination and you're done.
Right.
Speaking of the journey, though,
Yeah.
I realized we kind of jumped right in without
It's-
really defining what critical thinking is.
For those who might be brand new to the concept.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Like, for someone who's never even heard of it,
Right.
how would you describe it?
Oh, let me...
In like a really simple way.
How about this?
Okay.
It's like having a set of mental filters.
Mental filter.
You know how Instagram has filters for photos?
Oh, yeah,
They make the photo look different.
totally.
Critical thinking is kind of like that, but for information.
Okay, I like
It
that.
helps you see things from different angles.
Oh, okay.
Question what you see. Make more informed decisions.
So it's not just taking things at face value.
No, you're looking deeper.
Right.
You're considering different perspectives. You're weighing the evidence before forming an opinion.
That's like being a detective, right?
Exactly.
Which we talked about before.
Yeah.
You're not just passively absorbing information. You're investigating it.
You're actively engaging with it.
Exactly.
And that's key, you know?
Okay, so we've got this idea of questioning,
Yeah.
analyzing, evaluating information.
Mm-hmm.
But why is it so important?
Well, why do you think?
I mean, I've got some ideas, but
I'm curious.
what are like the real world benefits?
Well, for one, it makes you a much more effective learner.
Really?
Think about it. In school, we're often taught to memorize, right?
Oh, yeah.
Facts, figures.
Rote memorization.
Exactly.
But critical thinking's more than that.
It is. It goes beyond that.
It's about understanding the why behind the what.
Yes. You're analyzing information, making connections,
Oh,
drawing your own conclusion.
that makes you a more independent thinker
It does.
and a more insightful thinker.
Absolutely. You excel in your studies.
Okay, so it helps with learning.
Yeah.
What about in the workplace?
Oh, essential. Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
In today's job market, employers are looking for people who can think critically, solve problems creatively.
It's not just about having a degree then.
No, it's about having those mental skills.
Right, like adaptability.
Yes.
Being able to think on your feet.
That mental agility. You
Yeah.
know, critical thinking helps you analyze situations, come up with solutions.
You're not just following instructions.
No, you're a proactive employee.
Right.
Resourceful.
And probably really important for leadership roles too, right?
Absolutely. Leaders who can think critically make sound decisions.
Okay.
They navigate complex challenges. They inspire their teams.
They're not just telling people what to do.
No, they're helping them think for themselves.
So we've got learning, we've got work. What about in our personal lives?
Oh, even more important, I'd say.
Oh, wow, really?
It helps you make informed decisions about your health, relationships,
Oh, okay.
finances, even your beliefs.
So it's not just about getting ahead, it's about
It's about living a fulfilling life,
living a good life.
a meaningful life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It helps you avoid those impulsive choices, you know,
Right.
helps you recognize your biases, develop a better understanding of the world.
So critical thinking is like a superpower.
It is.
Yeah.
For all aspects of your life.
I like that.
And the best part?
What?
Anyone can develop it.
Oh, that's good news.
With practice, yeah.
Speaking of practice, let's go back to some of those tools from Cottrell's book.
Okay, yeah, which ones are you thinking of?
Well, we talked about the 5 whys,
Oh, the 5 whys.
that persistent 5-year-old approach to problem solving.
It's simple, but it works.
Yeah.
It's all about digging deeper.
Okay.
You're uncovering the root cause of a problem.
Not just treating the symptoms.
Exactly. Like instead of just slapping a Band-Aid on it,
Right.
you're doing surgery.
Get to the heart of it.
Yes. So let's say you're feeling overwhelmed with your to-do list.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I have too much to do,
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, why do I feel overwhelmed?
Okay. Why do I feel overwhelmed?
Maybe the answer is I'm not prioritizing my tasks effectively.
I'm not prioritizing effectively.
Right. Then ask, why am I not prioritizing effectively?
Why am I not?
Maybe it's because I'm afraid of saying no to people.
Oh, interesting.
You see.
You keep asking why until you
get to the core issue.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
Exactly.
Okay, so you understand the root cause, and then you can come up with a better solution.
A more targeted solution.
Okay, I like that.
What about the SWOT analysis?
Oh, yeah, the SWOT analysis. I remember you mentioning
A
that.
fantastic tool for decision making.
Okay, remind me. What does SWOT stand for again?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
It's helpful to visualize it
Yeah, how do you visualize it?
like a 4-square grid,
Okay.
each word in a box.
Okay, so I'm picturing that now.
Let's say you're thinking of changing careers.
Ooh, big decision.
Big decision.
Yeah.
You use the SWOT analysis to assess
Okay.
your current situation and the potential new career.
Okay, got it.
First, list your strengths,
Okay.
your skills, experience, qualities that make you a good fit.
So, what I bring to the table,
Exactly. Then,
the
weaknesses,
things I need to work on.
areas for growth, yeah.
Okay.
Then, shift focus outward.
Okay.
What opportunities does this new path offer?
Good potential benefit.
The benefits, the growth, what excites you,
Right.
and finally, the threats,
The things that could go wrong.
the challenges, the risks.
Okay, so I'm looking at all sides.
You're considering all angles,
Yeah.
weighing the potential rewards and risks.
Making a more informed choice.
Exactly. It's like a risk assessment.
I like that analogy, a risk assessment.
And you can use it for so many decisions, big or small.
Like choosing a new apartment?
Choosing an apartment, yeah.
Starting a business.
Starting a business, even a vacation.
Wow. Okay, so critical thinking is really like having
The whole toolkit
tool,
of mental strategy
right, to help you with life.
to help you navigate, yeah.
And another important tool in that toolkit, I think,
What's that?
is identifying and challenging assumptions.
Ah, yes, assumptions, those sneaky things.
They really are sneaky.
We hold them without realizing it.
So often.
They can have a huge impact on how we see the world.
Okay, so remind me again, how do we become aware of them?
Well, first just ask yourself, what am I assuming to be true here?
Okay, so I'm bringing them to the surface.
You're bringing them into the light.
What?
Challenge them. Ask, is this really valid?
Yeah.
What evidence do I have?
Okay, so I'm putting them on trial.
Exactly. You might find they're based on outdated information, biases, stereotypes.
It's kind of scary, actually,
It can be, yeah.
to realize how many unexamined beliefs we hold.
That's why it's so important to challenge them.
Yeah.
It frees you from those limiting beliefs.
Okay.
It opens you up to new possibilities.
So critical thinking isn't just about finding the right answers.
No, it's about asking the right questions.
It's about being curious.
It's about being skeptical, challenging the status quo.
Okay, so we've talked about tools, techniques,
Mm-hmm.
but are there any, like, common pitfalls?
Oh, absolutely.
What are some things that trip people up?
One of the biggest is confirmation bias.
We talked about that before, right?
We did. It's that tendency to seek out information that confirms what you already believe
Right.
and to ignore information that contradicts it.
It's like we're all living in our own little echo chambers.
Especially with social media, those echo chambers get amplified.
Right, so how do we break free from that?
It takes effort. You have to actively seek out diverse perspectives.
Yeah.
Read things you might not normally agree with.
Follow people with different views on social media.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Expose yourself to different ways of thinking.
Step outside my comfort zone.
Yes, it can be uncomfortable.
But it's probably worth it.
It is. It helps you grow.
Okay, so confirmation bias, anything else?
Another pitfall is emotional reasoning.
Emotional reasoning.
It's letting your emotions drive your decisions
Instead of logic.
instead of thinking things through.
Oh, yeah.
It can lead to impulsive choices, clouded judgment.
Yeah, I've been there.
We all have. It's about developing self-awareness
Okay.
and practicing emotional regulation.
So when I feel that strong emotion coming up,
Mm-hmm.
I need to pause.
Take a deep breath. Observe the emotion without judgment.
Okay.
Find that balance between thinking and feeling.
So confirmation bias, emotional reasoning,
Yeah.
any other pitfalls to watch out for?
Another is oversimplifying complex issues.
Oh, yeah. Everything's black and white.
We live in a world of sound bites, headlines.
It's easier to deal with things that way.
It is, but most issues are nuanced.
Right.
They require us to consider multiple perspectives.
So we need to be comfortable with ambiguity.
Absolutely. Critical thinking isn't about having all the answers.
It's about...
Asking the right questions.
Yeah, okay. This is making a lot of sense.
Good.
I feel like I'm already starting to think differently.
Well, you're developing that critical lens.
Yeah.
Seeing the world in a new light.
It's exciting, actually.
It is.
But are there any, like, other resources?
Oh, tons of resources.
Besides Cottrell's book, obviously.
Yes, Cottrell's book is a great starting point.
But if people want to learn more?
Well, there's the Foundation for Critical Thinking.
I've heard of them.
They have a website, courses, workshops,
Okay.
and another website, Skeptical Science.
Skeptical science.
It focuses on debunking myths about climate change.
Interesting.
But the principles apply to any topic.
Right. Evaluating evidence, spotting fallacies.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So beyond those resources, any other advice?
Cultivate a mindset of curiosity and skepticism.
Question everything.
Not everything, but be willing to challenge assumptions.
Oh,
Ask those probing questions.
got it.
Be open to changing your mind.
Yeah, when new information comes up.
Critical thinking is a journey.
Right.
It's always evolving.
This has been so insightful.
Good.
My brain is doing bicep curls right now.
It's a good workout for the mind.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we move on,
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Okay.
We've talked about the benefits of critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but are there any downsides?
That's a good question, actually.
Like, can you be too critical?
It's a balance, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Like walking a tightrope
Okay.
between skepticism and cynicism.
You don't want to lose your sense of wonder?
No, or your empathy.
Or the ability to enjoy things?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So how do we strike that balance?
Right, that's the key. How do we do that?
Well, remember, critical thinking isn't about being right all the time.
Oh, okay.
It's about seeking truth, understanding different perspectives,
Yeah.
being open to the possibility that you might be wrong.
That's hard.
It is. It requires humility.
Especially now, everyone's so certain about everything.
It's about approaching things with curiosity.
Not arrogance.
Not arrogance, no. Listen to understand,
Mhm.
not just to respond.
Recognize that we all have biases.
We all do. Even the smartest people can be wrong.
It's about being open-minded.
That's how you break free from those echo chambers.
So critical thinking's not just about analyzing
No, it's about being open to new ideas,
and then using those insights.
to create something new, to solve problems, to make positive change.
I like that it's not just tearing things down.
No, it's building a better future.
Imagine if everyone thought this way.
What a world that would be.
Okay, so you've got the balance. We've
Yeah.
got the creative potential.
The potential for good, yeah.
But how do we actually apply all this to our lives?
What are some concrete steps?
Yeah, give us the action plan.
Well, start by paying attention to your own thoughts.
My thoughts.
Yeah. Notice when you're jumping to conclusions, making assumptions,
Okay.
letting emotions cloud your judgment.
Become aware of the patterns.
Yes. Like a scientist observing your own mind.
I like that. So once I'm aware of those patterns,
Then you challenge them.
okay,
Ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have?
have that internal debate.
Exactly. That's the heart of critical thinking.
Okay, so pay attention to my thoughts. What else?
Diversify your information sources.
Right. Break free from the filter bubbles.
Read things you disagree with.
Follow people with different views.
Exactly. The more perspectives you're exposed to,
The better, right.
the better your own thinking becomes.
Okay. Diversify. What else?
Engage in respectful discussions with people who disagree with you.
Oh, okay. Have those tough conversations.
Civil discourse, it's so important.
It is. You learn a lot that way.
You do. And you might even change your mind.
That's true. That's true.
That's the beauty of it.
It's a process.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Mm.
Okay, what else? What else?
Practice active listening.
Active listening, yeah, that's a good one.
It's about really listening to understand.
Not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Exactly. Pay attention, ask questions, reflect back what you've heard.
Be present in the conversation.
It takes practice, but it makes you a better communicator.
Wow, this has been great.
It has. We've covered so much. The benefits of critical thinking, the pitfalls, the strategies.
That's a lot to take in.
But I think the main takeaway
With that,
is that in today's world, critical thinking is essential.
it is. It empowers you to make informed decisions,
Right.
navigate challenges.
Shape a better future.
Absolutely.
So everyone listening, keep those critical thinking muscles flexed.
Keep learning, stay curious.
We'll be back soon to wrap up this deep dive, but for now,
Thanks for joining us.
welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into critical thinking.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It really has, you know? I was thinking about what we talked about last time,
Oh, yeah.
about the potential downsides of being too critical,
Right, right.
and it just struck me how important that balance is.
It is. It's like you don't want to go too far.
Exactly.
It's a tightrope, you know,
It is a tightrope.
between healthy skepticism and just being cynical.
Yeah, you don't want to lose that sense of wonder
No.
or empathy for others.
Or even just enjoying things.
Right, exactly. So how do we strike that balance then?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. How do we stay critical but not become overly critical?
Well, I think a good starting point is remembering.
Yeah.
It's not about being right all the time.
Oh.
It's about being open to being wrong.
Oh, that's hard.
It is. It takes humility.
Especially these days. Everyone's so sure they're right.
It's like a badge of honor, you know?
It is.
But critical thinking is more about curiosity
Okay.
than it is about certainty.
So approach it with a sense of curiosity.
Yeah, like you're exploring.
Oh.
Not like you're trying to win an argument.
Right. Listen to actually understand.
Not just to respond.
I'm guilty of that sometimes.
We all are. But the key is recognizing those biases we all have.
Okay.
Even the smartest people can be wrong sometimes.
That's a good point.
So being open-minded, that's how you break free from those echo chambers.
Right. Because critical thinking isn't just about analyzing and evaluating.
No, it's about being open to new ideas.
And then using those new ideas.
To create something new, to solve problems, to make positive change.
I love that. So it's not just tearing things down.
No, it's about building something better.
Imagine if everyone thought this way.
What a world that would be.
Okay, so we've talked about the balance, the creative potential of critical thinking.
The potential for good, yeah.
But how do we actually apply all this to our lives?
Give me the action plan.
Yeah, what are the concrete steps?
One thing you can do is start paying attention to your own thoughts.
My thoughts.
Notice when you jump to conclusions,
Okay.
when you make assumptions, when you let your emotions cloud your judgment.
So become aware of the patterns.
Exactly, like a scientist observing your own mind.
Oh, I like that. So once I'm aware of the patterns,
Then you can start to challenge them.
challenge them. Okay.
Ask yourself, is this assumption really true? What evidence do I have?
Have that internal debate.
Exactly. That's what critical thinking is all about.
Okay, so pay attention to my thoughts. What else?
Diversify your information sources.
Oh, right. Break free from the filter bubbles.
Read things you disagree with.
Okay.
Follow people with different views.
Exactly.
Exactly. The more perspectives you're exposed to, the better.
And the better my own thinking becomes, right?
Exactly.
Okay, diversify, and then what?
Engage in respectful discussions with people who disagree with you.
Oh, have those tough conversations.
Yeah, civil discourse is so important.
It is. You learn so much from those conversations.
You do. You might even change your mind.
That's true. That's true.
That's the beauty of it. It's a process,
It's a journey.
not a destination.
Okay. Anything else?
Practice active listening.
Oh, yeah, active listening.
It's about really listening to understand.
Not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Exactly. Pay attention to what they're saying.
Okay.
Ask clarifying questions.
Yeah.
Reflect back what you've heard.
Be present in the conversation.
It makes you a better communicator.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It takes practice, but it's worth it.
Wow, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
It's been a lot.
But I think the main takeaway is,
Critical thinking is essential,
Right.
especially today.
it is. It helps you make sense of the world.
It helps you make good decisions,
Navigate those challenges
create a better future.
for yourself and the world around you.
Exactly. So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
keep those critical thinking muscles flexed.
Stay curious.
Never stop learning.
It's a lifelong journey.
And thanks for joining us on this deep dive into critical thinking.
It's been a pleasure.